So the key benefits really of upgrading your Warwick PGCE to a Warwick MA is that as a teaching profession we're moving towards becoming masters qualified. So that means in the future lots of people will need to have MAs already for senior leadership positions in schools, particularly headships. They're often already advertised as needing a masters in education. So we've designed this programme at Warwick so that it supports you in your NQT and your RQT years coming out of the PGCE. It enables you to stay in touch with us, and it enables you to specialise in the areas that you're interested in and develop further practice and further specialisms in those areas. So our MA in Professional Education is designed just for people who have a Warwick PGCE. So your Warwick PGCE is 90 CATS points, and the MA in Professional Education for upgrade for PGCE students is another 90 CATS points. So that's one 30 credit module. You can do it at different points in the year, that 30 credit module, but we suggest, particularly if you're doing it in your first year of teaching, your newly qualified year of teaching, we suggest you start that in the summer term. That's an online module, so you can log in and out of it whenever you want, whenever suits you around working full-time, and our programme is designed for full-time practitioners, and you can log in and out of that anytime from the Easter onwards. So you do one online summer term module in Foundation Research Methods, and when you've passed that in the October, you move on to a 60 credit module where you're writing a thesis on something that's associated with your school environment. So whatever you wanted to focus on to do with school and to do with the learning that you're currently doing, that will be the focus of your master's thesis, and somebody from inside the Centre for Professional Education who's doctorally qualified would supervise your thesis in whatever your subject specialism area is. So the MA in Professional Education helps your career to progress, because when you see jobs that are advertised that require a master's, you've already ticked that box. But really more than that, you have a higher level of understanding about what's involved in teaching, not just the day-to-day of teaching, but the wider policy landscape, wider specialist areas that you've accrued knowledge in, and that really helps to raise your overall aspirations and intentions for what you want to do later on in your teaching career. You can use the Masters to move on into doctoral education yourself. So the University of Warwick run an Ed.D. Education Doctorate and a PhD Philosophy Doctorate programme that you can also progress to if you're interested in academia. We believe that studying a Master's in Professional Education really helps you to become a better teacher, because you can specialise in those areas that are of interest to you. So if you're particularly interested in learning and teaching, if you're interested in assessment or behaviour, you're interested in special educational needs and disabilities, you're interested in leadership and management, having the opportunity to sit down with a supervisor over a 12-month period and gain an in-depth knowledge of an area that relates to education with your supervisor and write that up as a thesis alongside being in practice full-time gives you a unique insight into how education works and helps to develop your specialist practice. So we believe that's a really significant factor of our Masters. There have been lots of debates and discussions in the national policy context recently about teachers needing to be Masters qualified, and this is something that the government discuss on a regular basis. We think that we're moving towards that as a profession, and we think that head teachers, governing bodies, other groups of practitioners out there really value Masters level education, and PGCE students who've upgraded their PGCEs to Masters level in education, because it gives you the specialist context and it gives you more detailed understanding of education in particular areas. And I think most people now see that that makes you better qualified in an area. It keeps your knowledge and practices of higher education up to date, and gives you more to say, to sixth formers, for example, if you're teaching post-16, or to parents if you're teaching at primary level, and really does help improve your performance in the classroom. From all the research that you read, your work becomes much more evidence-informed. For those of you who have done Warwick PGCEs, that's the trajectory that you've been set off on through our PGCE programmes. They're very much evidence-informed, research-based. And what our Masters does is enable you to follow that through to the end of a Level 7 qualification. Lots of people really worry about doing a Masters full-time at the same time as teaching full-time. And what we really need to say to reassure you is that our Masters is PartTime Masters. It's a over 3 year Masters, but for people who already have a Warwick PGCE, you've already done half of that Masters. So you're now just doing the other half of that Masters, and you're doing it over a period of time that's slightly less than about 18 months. So you do an online module that fits in round your teaching, because you can log in and out of that whenever you want to. You have dedicated staff here at the Centre for Professional Education who you can contact if you're worried about anything to do with your MA programme. It's very much part of our support and retention and support package to do with newly qualified teachers, and it's one of the ways in which we keep in touch with you as a newly qualified teacher, for you to be engaging into that Masters with us, and to have a focus through your second or your third year of teaching while you're writing up your thesis is really helpful, because it allows you to develop an area of expertise, something that you're interested in, and that's perfectly doable. Lots of other teachers have done that in their second or third years of teaching, and we make sure that it doesn't get too much. We have regular supervision meetings, and I think the critical thing is being able to focus on something that you want to do, so it becomes part of building up your own sort of skills and expertise. If you're interested in upgrading your PGCE to a Masters in Professional Education, you can see the information at the end of this video on how to apply, and I look forward to hearing from you.